Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Summer J, and today I'm going to talk to you about the autoimmune arthritis diagnosis I've received after having COVID the first time in March of 2020. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, um, today I brought a couple of things in or to show you today. Starting at the beginning. So for those of you who may have saw the last video or the first couple videos, I talked about the whole process of contracting COVID twice. I also talked about in the very last video how back in August of 2020, my primary care manager ran a gamut of tests to figure out exactly what was going on with me um, and why I wasn't getting better. And I mentioned in that video that one of the tests she ran was uh, checking the rheumatoid factor. And on that particular test, I noticed the rheumatoid factor came back as 20, not off the scales, but just slightly high. So my primary care manager wasn't really concerned about it because it wasn't enough, I guess, for her to be concerned. But considering I'd gotten sick in March and it was August and I was still sick, something was wrong, and I wanted to just explore all the options. And so at that time, I have the type of insurance that it doesn't require a referral. And I selected that type of insurance for a reason because I would have had to wait for a referral, wait for the referral to get to the doctor's office. And that just would have been a really long time because when I was looking at in-network providers, they were booked out until November. And again, we were talking August. And so I found one. I was in Virginia in the DMV area, and I ended up finding there was one physician that was in Maryland, I think, and he was booked out into November. And the way I was feeling, I was like, I can't wait until November. So then I started looking at options that were closer to me that were out of network. And I understood that I had to pay to go and see the doctor, but um, at that time, I was looking to get some relief. So I found this doctor down in Fredericksburg, and I scheduled an appointment with her, and we had a discussion on what was going on. Why did I come to see her? And I told her it was the rheumatoid factor that had me slightly concerned. And then I was talking to her about, like, she started asking me questions. Are you ever hurting? And I was like, oh, yeah, I am. And then she's asked me the time of day, and I was like, well, usually in the morning when I get up, it takes me about 30 minutes or so to, get going. And then she asked, were there any specific areas of my body that were hurting? And I told her, um, yes. I said, like I noticed when I lift my leg and to put it on the lip of the bathtub when I'm trying to shave or whatever, shave my legs, and it there's like something going on here in the groin area. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, were there any other areas? And I said, yeah, my back hurts a lot and have arthritis in my knees. So I knew I had it in my knees already. And then she was like, okay. So she goes, well, I think I know what's going on with you, but I just want to run a few tests um, to be sure. And so she set me up to have an x-ray of my back. She set me up to have an MRI based on what I told her was going on when I lift my leg to shave my legs. Um, she wanted to have an MRI of my SI joint. Didn't know what an SI joint was at the time, but and so I saw her at the end of September, and well, I take that back. Initially, she just did the X-rays, and then after she got the results back from the X-rays, she says, I want to do one more test. And she said, based on what you said you have going on when you try to lift your leg up to put it on the lip of the bathtub, um, to shave. She goes, I think you have, um, and she said non-radiographic ankylosing spondylitis. And I was like, huh? She said it doesn't show up on x-rays, or like they'll run tests and but they can't see it because you have the non-radiographic version. But she says if you have going on what I think you have going on, then when we do, I want to see the MRI first. And she says, come back and see me, and I think I know how we can start to address what you have going on. I said, okay. So I went for the MRI, and when I came back to see her at the end of September, she's like, you have what I think you have, because there was like bruising on my SI joint. And she goes, I think you've moved from the non-radiographic, because she said your x-ray on your spine, I can see that your bones are starting to fuse together. And so she was like, okay, we're going to start you. And I told you guys in the very first video, we started off on Taltz, and it's a biologic. There are several risk factors with the biologic for Taltz, but you have to understand, I went from being very active and doing so many things to um, being fatigued, like for a month at a time, but not just for a month at a time, it was like ongoing. So when I took the Taltz, it gave me some relief, and I was only fatigued for 3 out of 4 months. And that worked really well until it didn't, which was around March or so. And she and I had to have the conversation. I said, hey, this isn't, I'm starting to notice I'm getting fatigued. I used to be good for 3 weeks, then it went to 2 weeks, and then it went to 1 week, and now I'm now fatigued again 3 to 4 weeks out of the month instead of being fatigued only 1 month. And she goes, okay, well, with COVID, if you had COVID in March and then you didn't see me until September, and we didn't start you until the end of September, almost October, you went all that time with your body in a constant state of inflammation. She goes, I think anything at that point would have worked to help calm down the inflammation in your body. So what we have to do is find the right medication for you. And like I said in my previous video, I'm not getting a kickback from anybody on any of these things. I'm genuinely trying to help those of you who may be going through what I was going through. And so from Taltz, we went to Cosentex. So this is one of my old Cosentex pens. And what I used to like about Taltz and Cosentex is you could actually, it's an auto injector pen. And so you just put it on your skin and it administers the medication. You could either go in your thighs, like your back of your arms. So the back of my arms were like the place that's because I could do it myself, or my thighs. But I don't know, for those medications that like want you to inject them in your stomach, like, that's just something about injecting something in my stomach just does not go well or seem right to me. So I don't do that. The only thing I injected in my stomach was back in, I think it was 2012, when I had a blood clot in my calf, and I had to inject the blood thinners in. That was the only thing I injected in my, anything else like the I am not. I just, it's personal preference, but I'm not doing that. But anyways, back to Cosentex. So I was on Cosentex for um I would say a good year, but I knew before that year. No, I would say longer than that. I was on Cosentex. I started it in March of 2021, 2022. I was on Cosentex for almost 2 years, but knew probably a year in that it was not working the way I needed it to work. And it took a while for me to um, get the right type of care because my husband was active duty and we moved, I would say, two, three times um, since I've acquired COVID. So finding pulmonologists and rheumatologists and things of that nature, and then getting in to see them is a lengthy process. So imagine doing it like two and three times. But we knew that the medication was not working. And then in one case, the rheumatologist I was seeing in Texas, his he retired from his practice, so I had to find another rheumatologist in Texas. And by the time we were looking at changing the medication, it was time to move again. So I had to wait until I got to my new location before I could establish care with a rheumatologist and change the medication. So when I was finally able to change from Cosentyx, one of the options he gave me was Cimzia. I did not like Cimzia. I didn't like how it's like, oh, these are old, so that's why it's crooked because I just jam- jammed it in there to close it back up. But this was one I had to, it wasn't auto injectable, and I just dreaded taking my medication. I think if I'm not mistaken, I had to take it more frequent than I had to take Cosentyx or Taltz. So these I took once a month. They would come in the mail, and it all had to be refrigerated. But once I started taking the Cimzia, I just knew that this isn't gonna work. I'm not feeling this, and it didn't work. Um, I just I didn't feel good on the Cimzia, and ended up, I would say maybe I was on the Cimzia for somewhere between 3 and 6 months. I know I had to take it long enough to give it some time to work, but just, oh, I dreaded taking this medication just by the application method. It just, oh, I wasn't feeling it. So I had a conversation with my rheumatologist, and now I am I'm on Symphony Aria, and it is inject I receive it by infusion, and the reason I advocated for this particular medication was because I don't have to store the medication at my house. I'm not having to inject myself, and it it's supposed to last longer. I take it once every 8 weeks, and so I go in to the office. I have an office visit with my doctor. We discuss how it's going. And then I go to the infusion room, and they, you may be able to see bruises, but they got me good the other day. But um, they got me right here. And so they did an IV, and I sit there, and it goes through my body. And they schedule me for my next appointment while I'm getting the infusion, and then I leave and I go give labs so that they can monitor my blood. All of this is inside of my rheumatologist's office, and then I'm good to go. Well, I don't know if you saw the last video, but I was telling you I had this mycoplasma infection, and in June, so it's July 21st. So in June, this time last month, I was a day away from finding out that my upper respiratory infection was actually a mycoplasmic infection. And so ever since I got sick, like my left knee has been like throbbing and hurting so bad. that I bought myself this. I was I was out of town last weekend, and we were walking, and we walked by a medical supply store, and I stopped. I did a U-turn and went back in that store and looked for a knee brace. Like my knee was hurting that bad, and they gave me a stabilizer. So, but it was not gave me, I purchased, but it was a really good buy. So, I will either take a picture of it and include it with this video so that you can see it. And again, I'm not getting a kickback from anybody for anything I'm telling you about. I'm just telling you what works for me. But because to me, my knee seemed very unstable, but I was able to continue to walk with my family and extend like how long I was walking, and it kind of kept everything together. And so if I have to walk long distances now, I'm definitely going to pack that knee brace away and take it with me. And also, one of the other things I remember earlier, I told her I told my rheumatologist in Virginia that I was having problems with, getting out of the bed. When I first got out of the bed, my back and my hips were hurt so bad. Oh my gosh. Um, so once I was diagnosed with the autoimmune arthritis, and we know that I have degeneration going on in my back, and it's progressing, but like heat is the number one thing. Like um, I use, I like to use also. So that was in the end of September, October. So then I started seeing these commercials for sleep number beds. And so I think on Veterans Day, my husband and I were off from work, so we went to go to the sleep number store to try out a bed. And we ended up getting an I8 bed with the flex base. And what I found out from going to the sleep number store is a regular mattress was too hard for me. Like in the store, they told me that they'll let you lay on the bed and say, "Hey, tell me when it feels good." So I told them in the store, I think that my sleep number, that so, oh yeah, that feels good right there. I think, but anything compared to what I was sleeping on would have been, oh, that feels good. So in the store, I was like a 30 or 35. But what I actually sleep on at home, I am at about I can fluctuate anywhere between a 5 and a 15. 15 is the highest I'll go. But it's ever since I started sleeping on my sleep number bed, like when I tell you I get up and I spring out of bed and nothing's hurting. And so if you can get a sleep number bed, I highly recommend you getting a sleep number bed. It is life changing. I would say try to catch them when they're running a special where it's like 3 years, 0% interest or something like that, because the bed is high. I'm not gonna even like sugarcoat it like that for you. The bed is high, but if you can catch a special like that and pay it off, if you don't have the money saved up to just flat out pay for it, and pay it off while it's at 0% interest, it is life changing. Like no cap. And so the other thing I use heating pads, and they're like just regular heating pads. If you, I'll probably end up pausing this video so I can go and get some of these things I'm telling you about. I can't get my sleep number bed, but it's some of the things that provide me relief. They're like common things, and oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe it. So hold on a second. Let me pause the video. Let me go get some of my stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, it's me, and I'm back. I went to go get some of the things I was trying to tell you about so you can get some relief too. Again, I am not getting kickbacks from anybody on any of the things I'm talking about, but I just want to let you know the things that I'm using that's providing me with some relief in terms of my arthritis. And so I told you guys about the knee pack, and it's made by, I mean, not the knee pack, the knee brace, and it's by Protect Athletics. And it has a circular spot for your kneecap, for your patella there. And this was a lifesaver when I had to walk a lot last weekend and we were out of town. So it has grips also to keep it from sliding on the inside, and it'll keep your knee in place. And one of the problems I have with my arthritis is my knees swell a lot. And so it's supposed to help with the swelling too. It's a compression knee brace. Um, Highly recommend um, this knee support. This one was like $39, but I don't know if it's $39 everywhere or if it was just $39 in California where I was when I saw it. But highly recommend this. It's a 3D flat premium compression. It says it's a medical grade compression, offers support where you need it, and it absolutely did. Oh my gosh, I this helped me to keep it moving while I was out walking around with my family. So I wanted to share that with you guys. This is something, this is like my second back brace. I like to use this back brace like if I'm walking or if I know like I'm gonna go to like an amusement park or something like that. I'll take the brace with me, especially it depends on where I am in my treatment cycle. If I'm close to needing a treatment of my next infusion, or if um, I'm in between and waiting for, based on the price points of the medication I'm taking, sometimes if we're switching, it requires an authorization from the insurance company. And so I remember it was like fall break or something, and I was waiting on the insurance company to send the paperwork to my rheumatologist, and I was in a bad situation in terms of pain, but I didn't want to like ruin fall break for my kids. And so I had some pain meds and some muscle relaxers, and I don't like to take those. I have to be in dire straits because then they make me sleepy. But um, to get through the day, I got this off Amazon. And this is like the second one I've had. The first one I had, it had like it had infrared heat and it went down to the bone. Oh my gosh, that back brace felt so good. But I guess I burned it out and I needed another one. So this one I found, and I'm noticing like they're harder and harder to find on Amazon. But it has a battery pack in it, and you can charge up the battery pack. And this is what it looks like. Usually when I'm flying, I will actually wear this through TSA because the battery's like a lithium battery, and so they don't want you to put them underneath. But or I'll have it in my bag, my carry-on bag, and then like it does like 3 levels of heat. Hopefully I have it charged. I wasn't expecting to show you all this today. Yeah, so it will do hot, maybe not like medium hot, and then like a lighter hot. But I only use the heat feature because the massage is like a bit too much for my back. But it'll do massages too, and you can hear it. And then it has different levels of massaging. But that's just too much for me. But really good belt. Um, it provides you with some natural relief, if you will, without having to take like oral medication. And then I have a couple of heating pads that I use. Like this one I take with me on the if I'm traveling away from home and I'm away from my sleep number bed, because my sleep number bed has the heated foot pads, and so now I need my feet warm to go to bed. But this, depending on where I am and what's hurting, I primarily take this one to mimic my sleep number bed, but it can go on your back or your hips or wherever else you need it to go. And then I have a bigger one that a friend of mine got for me, which I will take with me as well. So if no one else with me isn't hurting and I'm not hurting too bad, or if I am hurting like really bad, then I have this one that I got as a gift. Thank you, Misa. But it like goes over your shoulders and then it can cover your back. It comes down, or what I like to do with this one is, yeah, it'll come all the way down. I like to lay it, especially if I overdid it, like what I was talking about, if I'll break, I'll lay it in the bed like this, and then plug it up, and so then the whole area is like the heating pad. So this is another one that does a really good job heating up. So this one, when like I usually keep this one on like medium because when it's on high, it's like hot, hot. But these are some of the things that I use to help get me through. Like if I'm between treatments, or if I don't want to take any medication, but I know it's arthritis that's beating me down, then I'll try to do the heat. And um, especially if it's gonna rain, or if I'm at the end of the cycle for my and it's time for a treatment. Like I went into the office on Thursday. I went to the office on Wednesday, and then I was like, oh man, I forgot my heating pad, but my treatment was due on Friday. Then I got to work on Thursday and I forgot my heating pad again. So I'll have to remember the next time it's getting close to me to have another treatment to make sure I take my heating pad. So you guys have all, I showed you the things that I use to relieve the discomfort, and pretty much if it's arthritic, if it's and you're in pain, if you can apply some heat to it, that'll be a good test for you. If you're in pain and you apply heat to it and that provides you with some relief, 9 times out of 10 it's arthritis related. So try to get set up to either get your doctor to get you over to a rheumatologist, or if you can just go to the rheumatologist, or get you some labs or something before you get to the rheumatologist, so you'll know maybe if you have numbers that are off. Like my rheumatoid factor was just a little um, elevated, but it was enough to concern me to head in that direction. Um, there's one more video I'm going to make, but it more than likely will not be today. And I am going to talk about menopause, and I'm going to talk about COVID brain fog, and like kind of wrap up this series on long COVID for you guys. And then we can either go in a different direction in terms of topics, and I will more than likely head into adult diagnosis uh, for autism. So I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let me know in the comments down below what topics you're interested in me talking about next. And until next time, it's your girl Summer J. Have a good one. Go be great.